audio which allegedly captures the last moments before the Titan submersible imploded. We're getting that and a lot more for you in a power-packed bulletin at 7:30 p.m. on Trending with me, Gesu Bhardwaj. No matter what device you're on, stormy trends are breaking the internet today. Viewers, AI is shaping how we see the world. But is it doing so with a hidden bias? From skewed images to selective historical narratives, how much control do we really have over what AI feeds us? Let's dive into the truth behind the algorithmic curtain. Also on the show tonight, we delve into what is the controversy over a Chhattisgarh High Court judgment that has netizens fuming. All this and much more on tonight's edition. Let's get right into what's trending with me, Gesu Bhardwaj. Viewers, it's the AI bias alert. At the recent AI summit in France, tech experts and world leaders gathered to discuss the future of artificial intelligence. So, me pushing for stricter regulations, others are worried about industry giants dominating the space. But the most eye-opening moment came from none other than Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who brought up a critical issue that's been flying under the radar: AI bias. And no, it's not just about algorithms picking their favorites. It's actually about how AI, trained by humans with their own biases, can unintentionally skew how we see the world. And guess who has recently been at the forefront of running these experiments? None other than an ISKCON monk. For instance, when asked to generate an image of a person using their left hand, AI stubbornly shows them using their right. Strange, right? But the real kicker came when testing how AI responds to tough questions about its own creators. Sam Altman's battles, anyone? Suddenly, the answers were not so transparent. From history to religion, the AI responses also hinted at a selective bias in the system. To unpack this AI dilemma, I had ISKCON monk Yudhishthir in conversation with me. Take a listen. Sir, thank you so much for speaking to Republic, and first of all, congratulations for making such a groundbreaking investigation when it comes to AI. You unveiled how AI also comes with its own biasness, more like how AI has a mind of its own. Speak to us about that also, sir.
Yeah, first of all, thank you very much for having me on your show today. What has been happening is something that I guess all of us have been experiencing in our own way, and this has been highlighted in a much bigger way when Prime Minister Modi at the AI summit in France, he spoke about the biases within the AI. And I ran some tests on my own on using different AI models, ChatGPT, Perplexity, DeepSeek, and XAI to see what kind of results are they producing. And it was quite surprising. Certain information like about the activities of Sam, the CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman, were being either declined or they were not being published for whatever reasons known to them. But the same information could be found via a simple Google search, like about his court case battles that he's been fighting with his sister. But OpenAI and ChatGPT somehow is not revealing that. So that set me thinking that what's actually going on. So I started looking deeper and I started asking some questions about being a monk. I started asking about Hinduism. And when I asked it to critique what are the major challenges in Hinduism, it immediately started giving me some prompts. And when I started asking it to do the same thing with other religions, Islam, Christianity, and so on, and the responses started changing. And I found this particularly very, very obvious on ChatGPT, but every form of AI that we have been experiencing has some amount of bias. And now, when you deal with society where you have the millennials and the younger generation, where the attention span is very little, how do you provide the best form of information which is unfiltered, which is accurate, and at the same time tangible enough to grasp in a quick reading?
How do you think this has an impact, and where do you think this biasness even comes from?
All forms of AI models are basically trained on data. And you could have multiple levels of biases there. The first bias could be in the data itself. Again, it boils down to the human bias. Which form of data do I want to feed my model? Then, on top of that, you could have an algorithmic bias where you develop the algorithms in such a way that it picks only certain forms of data which suits your interest or suits your worldview or suits your perspective and brings that out. Then obviously there is the human aspect to it of why I want to do it, what do I want to do it, and which kind of team I assemble to get this done. So there are these very realistic challenges that we are facing. And the governments, different civil society and tech leaders need to work together to address this, because the whole idea of colonialism was, at least in the Indian context, was the attempt to rewrite history, rewrite our traditions, rewrite our outlook in life as some sort of, inanities which were not needed, and this was being corrected. And we see a similar attempt happening now with this, quote unquote, if you want to call it, as digital colonization that's happening. And that's where I think India needs to step up its game and come up with its own indigenous LLMs so that it caters to the world's requirement through an Indic perspective. Now, what if you have an AI model which refuses or deliberately misinforms you on certain historical events? What if it leads you in a certain way about the contemporary situations in the country or in the society? What if they want a certain narrative to be pushed? So these are very realistic challenge, and in this there is very little that you as an end user can do on part sitting here, say in Delhi or India, because these LLMs are being developed somewhere else and are being governed and implemented from there. So how do the governments plan to address this? How do we as end users want to raise our voice? It's a very, very serious discussion that we need to be having now.
Right, sir. Thank you so much for speaking to Republic. This was an insightful conversation indeed, and I'm sure that our viewers have a lot to take away from a conversation like this. Keeping up with our promise of not letting you miss out on anything that's trending tonight, here are some hot trends for you. Take a look. Seems like action has also been taken by Virat Kohli and Yuvraj Singh in Ranveer Alabadia's obscene comment case. The cricketers have unfollowed the YouTuber from Instagram. Various screenshots of these cricketers are being shared all over the social media. Viewers, just few days since the BJP swept Delhi, Aarti on the ghats of Yamuna has already begun. Clean Yamuna was one of the key poll promises made by the BJP to voters of Delhi. The man who saved India cricketer Rishabh Pant's life following his car accident in 2022 attempted suicide along with his girlfriend by consuming poison. The couple allegedly consumed poison after their families opposed their relationship. While the woman has now died during the treatment, the man is still battling for his life at the hospital. A woman was caught by Bengaluru police working on her laptop while also driving through busy traffic. She was fined 1,000 rupees for her reckless driving. This incident was brought to light by a fellow motorist's video, which sparked a debate around work-life balance on the internet. feline is going viral after it caused delay of over 2 days after sneaking inside a jet and refusing to leave the aircraft. This incident took place in a Boeing 737 aircraft, which was scheduled to fly from Rome to Germany. But before the flight could even take off, the crew members heard a mewing sound coming from inside the plane. Viewers, the US Coast Guard has released an audio recording which is doing rounds on social media. It is believed that it captures the final moments of Titan submersible before it imploded deep in the Atlantic Ocean in 2023. A video circulating on the internet shows an Indian origin woman staying calm while she is facing racial abuse from a drunk man on a UK train. In the video, the man is seen saying, and I'm quoting it, "Indians belong to England." The now deleted video has sparked huge backlash on social media platforms.
Did we give India back to India?
No, you didn't give India back.
India belonged to England and we gave it back. We didn't want it.
Jonas Brothers, the popular band, has been captivating the hearts of fans for over 20 years now. The band stirred up a lot of emotions this week when they penned down a long letter to their followers, initially giving them a mini heart attack about the band's split up. But the letter brought a lot of good news for the fans, as the Jonas Brothers will have a power-packed 2025, serving their fans with a new album, solo albums, and even live concerts. Former Indian cricketer and coach Anil Kumble and his wife Chetna Ratritha take a holy dip in Triveni Sangam on the occasion of Magh Purnima. After bathing in Sangam, Kumble shared his pictures, captioned he was feeling blessed, which went viral on the platform X. While Ranveer Alabadia faces backlash for his filthy comments, comedian Kapil Sharma's old joke about parents has now grabbed eyeballs for similar innuendos. The joke, back from Kapil's old show, is now making rounds on social media. Unfortunate as it is, India still remains one of the countries where non-consensual sex within marriage goes unpunished. In a shocking verdict stirring legal and social debate, the Chhattisgarh High Court held, and I quote, "It is quite clear that if the wife is not below 15 years of age, any sexual intercourse or sexual act by the husband with his wife cannot be termed as rape. As such, the absence of consent of the wife for an unnatural act loses its importance. If any unnatural sex, as defined under Section 377, is committed by the husband with his wife, then it can also not be treated to be an offence." Viewers, in this recent case, the wife died in a hospital after forced sexual act as she suffered several injuries. In her dying declaration, the woman accused her husband of forceful sexual intercourse, which led to medical complications. Marital rape is not punishable by law in India, and the learned bench's judgment now leaves unnatural sex out of the ambit of punishment as well. We spoke to Yogita Bhayana, women's right and anti-rape activist, a short while ago. Take a listen. Ma'am, thank you for speaking to Republic. We already know that marital rape is not punishable by law in India, and now Chhattisgarh High Court has ruled saying that forced unnatural sex between a man and his adult wife is also, it does not merit to punishment at all. What does this mean for women at large?
It is very regressive, I would put it this way, because we've been asking for marital rape to be kind of legalized in terms of, kind of getting punishment. However, when this kind of judgment comes, it demoralizes us, because in this particular judgment, if you read, the brutality of that extent that the lady died. No matter it was a wife or someone known, but the brutality was there. Consent was not there. So we need to, if bifurcate by the legal language, the consent is the main, base for calling it a rape or no rape, or you can say that. So, it is regressive and it is contradictory to, the laws we have for sexual violence. So I think legal experts and especially judiciary needs to interpret it in a way or have larger discourse and kind of get into the depth of this particular issue, because two different people having two different kind of ideology or understanding of the issue will not solve the purpose. It needs a larger discourse and expertise. And I wish the sensitivity was there, with them, unfortunately, which is not there. So I am not holding judiciary accountable, but I am really surprised at their understanding of the issue.
Ma'am, like we spoke about the matter before this also, when you were saying, do you think that the only problem is understanding cases like these? The problem is in the gap of understanding such cases? Or do you think that the actual problem also lies with the fact that law has not evolved as much as it should have, especially pertaining to cases like these?
So we need to understand why law has not evolved, because the understanding is not there. When the people who are suffering, the victims are okay with it, you can understand, the understanding is not there. So unfortunately,
netizens are expressing their fury over the court's stance and have expressed their disappointment with the verdict. Take a look at this. And now, leaving you with the visuals of the fast and fearless crew of the Indian Navy's INS Bangaram, first of the indigenous class fast attack craft. The ship and her crew has lived up to their motto, fast and fearless, patrolling waters with speed, precision and unwavering dedication.
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग शिप भी बन सकती है।